So everybody tells you from a very young age that water and electricity don't mix. So here we are. Kia e-Niro is full of electrons. It's just been charged. I mean, surely the slightest bit of water and it's going to explode. Well, it seems okay. Water and lots of electricity. Better finish the job.
Well, that was silly, wasn't it? But actually, a lot of people do think that you can't put an electric car through a car wash. Last year, in July 2018, there was a survey done in the UK of 2,000 people over the age of 18, and 42% of them were not sure about putting an EV through a car wash. Equally, 47% of them thought that petrol and diesel cars accelerate faster than electric cars. So another misconception there, because obviously, as we know, anyone who drives an electric car will notice how the acceleration is pretty instant. They're very quick off the mark. Obviously, if you've got a very quick petrol car that's designed to be quick, it will be a fast car in its own right. But it's one of the reasons people like electric cars and are often surprised when they first drive them is that they are generally quick off the mark, and that acceleration is delivered without any fuss or any noise, which still quite surprises me sometimes when we're out and particularly travelling in places where we've not been before. The way that the car just pulls up the hill and carries on either at the same speed or accelerating without any mechanical fuss or anything like that. So getting back to this survey, I guess it's quite encouraging that 25% of those surveyed in the UK, only 25%, think that that an electric car is more expensive to maintain, which is of course one of the big selling points. An electric car is all about what's not there as opposed to just what is there. And of course, there's no there's no exhaust system, there's no oil change to worry about, there's no gearbox. The sort of 2,000-3,000 parts that go to make up an internal combustion engine are just not an issue for an electric car. So, they are cheaper to maintain, and we will be seeing that hopefully next week when our car goes in for its first service, which we've been quoted at €56. We'll see. The other interesting thing from this survey, which I think is most telling, was that over half, 52% of people, wouldn't be able to explain what an EV is to other people. Now, I think that's quite interesting because we bumped into some people here the other day, people we know and hadn't seen for a while, and they said, "Oh, so you've got a new car? Yeah. What is it? Oh, it's an electric car. Okay." So you carry on talking, and they said, "Oh, so what engine has it got in it?" I said, "Well, it's got an electric motor and a battery." "Oh, well, it's got to have an engine as well, isn't it?" No. So there's still this idea that even electric cars, not plug-in hybrids, but pure electric cars, have to have some kind of other motor, which is strange. But I guess most people don't. They just get in their cars, they drive them, they're not that interested in cars per se. So it's going to take a while for that to kind of sink in, along with all the other stuff that the batteries don't last very long and that they don't go very far on a charge, although that's beginning to be dispelled now as more and more people see that the range on the newer electric cars coming out, are typically above 200 miles, 400 kilometers, that kind of range. As for battery life, there's a lot of debate about that. And there have been some excellent videos around on YouTube about some of the very long cars that like the Tesla. There's some Teslas in California that have done sort of over 400,000 miles, and okay, they're on their second or third battery, but the batteries were always rapid charged, because these cars were like taxis or executive transport cars, really going from the airport out to Palm Springs in California. I think there's this company called Tesla that just run their cars night and day, and they're always on the rapid charger, but they were getting 140, 150,000 miles out of the batteries. Now, anyone who tries to talk about this probably needs a PhD in chemistry, because how long a battery will last is dependent on so many factors. But I think one of the ways of thinking about it is, why do they give a 7-year warranty or an 8-year warranty or 150,000 kilometre warranty on the batteries? And it seems that this is based on charge cycles, and what you should expect out of your battery in your EV. So we're fostering some puppies, and they've just whizzed through here, and that video just got completely out of hand. Anyway, carrying on. What you should expect out of your thermally managed battery, like we have in the e-Niro and that Teslas have and a lot of other manufacturers have now, is between 1,500 and 1,700 charging cycles. And when you consider that every time you plug in, you're typically putting 200 to 300 kilometers on, well, that's an awful lot of motoring. That's 10 to 15 years driving. But then you say, well, will the battery degrade just over time with age? Because that's another element of battery degradation, which again needs that PhD in chemistry, which I don't have. And what it comes down to is, well, we really don't know yet. But people who've got sort of older Nissan Leafs and Zoes who are now sort of 7 or 8 years old, without a thermal management system, just passively cooled, they're still, they've still got 80-85% of their range from when the car was new. And we should get better than that for the thermally managed batteries. Anyway, remains to be seen. Our car is a long-term car. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford to buy another one. So it's got to be with us a long time. So we will either be pleasantly surprised or very disappointed, in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time as to how the battery's holding up. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope it stops raining in the UK. I've seen on the news some of the terrible flooding up there in Yorkshire. I guess that's not good for any car to drive through, but good question. What would it be like to drive an electric car where the water line is coming up above to where the battery sits? Obviously, these are, we've had a look underneath. I've had a look underneath the e-Niro, and it seems very well enclosed and protected. But if the whole thing were submerged temporarily in some deep water, what would that do to it, if anything? I mean, some of the pictures coming from Yorkshire, you see cars ploughing through these flooded areas, and that it's close to where the engine is, and I guess a lot of people have had problems there. But anyway, if anyone's got any ideas on that, be interested to know. Thanks, and bye-bye.